Good afternoon.
Hello, mate.
How are we, buddy? Good to see you.
And you?
Yeah. Slightly taller, slightly more handsome own Bradley here.
Good
Take
sub.
a seat.
Good sub.
He digs out the cross, the side header, and he's done it! It's Craig Forsyth's night at Pride Park Stadium.
So firstly, congratulations on 10 wonderful years at the football club. Early in the season you were awarded a testimonial year and game. Must have been a really proud moment for yourself and your family.
Yeah, it was. It's something that, as I've spoken about before, it's not too common nowadays in football. I think years gone by it was very common. So yeah, proud moment for the club to give me that, and thankful to them for giving me that. And as you say, hopefully it's a day me and my family can enjoy.
And do you think for you that family support that you've had throughout your career is a big part of a day for them and a year for them too?
Definitely. I think obviously with everybody knows my circumstances here, sort of highs and lows, and I think that has been a big part of it for me is the support off the field from your family and friends, and they've always stuck by me. And as you say, hopefully it's a day that they can come and enjoy it as well, and a good day out for them.
And before we start, we've got a little montage and a video on the screen, so if you take a little look.
Ozzy, Greg, congratulations mate, 10 years, what an incredible achievement, great servant to the football club. Just wanted to say it was a huge privilege and an honour to play alongside you, pal. Great role model for everyone coming through and to look up to. Everything that you've been through, the challenges that you faced, to keep coming back stronger and stronger. It's a huge testament to you, who you are as a person, as a player. Not only that, as play alongside you, it's been a huge privilege to get to know you as a friend. Family's close, and it's been a real pleasure, mate. Enjoy your day, pal. Fully deserved. All the best. Many more years to come yet. Keep going, Greg. Absolute pleasure. Top man, Waggy.
Hi Fozzy, congratulations on your testimonial game. 10 years with Derby County, a fantastic career. Also another contract which you thoroughly deserve, and just shows your determination, your character, your professionalism, the work that you actually put in on and off the field, because to come back from the ACL injuries that you've had to your knees, absolutely remarkable, unbelievable. I'm sure you deserve this. You've always been a team player. You've always been professional, given 100% every game. That's why you're still playing and why you continue to play. It's a fantastic achievement. I'm really proud of you, proud of what you've done in your career. You've made the most of your talent, and you're a role model for any youngster out there who wants a career in football, and shows that the hard work, the determination, the setbacks from injuries, setbacks from disappointments, you keep coming back, and that I'm positive you will demonstrate, not just in your football career but also outside of football. But in the meantime, continue playing, continue being a team player, continue giving your best, as I'm sure you will, and good luck for the next season and really all your career. Well done, Fozzy.
Hi Foz, congrats on your 10 years mate. Sorry I can't be there today, obviously now I'm employed, I have to make sure that I'm actually playing for the club that I'm meant to be playing for. But I wish you all the very best today. I hope it goes well for you and for your beautiful family, and I look forward to seeing October. But well done on 10 years mate. At any club it's an amazing feat, but at Derby, the trials we've had over the last few years and the injuries you've had just shows what kind of character you are, what kind of person you are, and you deserve the very best because you're a good person as well. So take care, and I'll see you soon.
Hiya Fozzie, many congratulations on being awarded a testimonial. It's thoroughly deserved. What a brilliant achievement, making over 300 appearances for the club despite serious knee injuries. Not many players stay at clubs 10 years these days, so enjoy it and I hope everything goes well in your testimonial season.
Fozzie, how's it going? It's Shins. I just wanted to send you a message to say a massive well done and congratulations on 10 years at the club and your testimonial, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure to spend a few of them years next to you and playing alongside you. So I hope the game goes well. I hope you have a great year celebrating your 10 years. And no, I'm not sitting here in my utility shorts. I've got rid of them. But have a good one, mate. All the best.
Some lovely messages from some really special people that are associated with you at Derby County. How does it make you feel?
Yeah, it does. It's obviously, it's good to hear those words from some people who've played a massive influence on my career. I think obviously Nigel brought me here on loan initially and kind of rescued me from Watford and sort of drifting around a few places. And then after Nigel left, Steve obviously had a massive impact on me and sort of took my game to the next level, and I'll always be thankful for the two of them.
Let's go back to the very start. We've talked about family already. Give me a little insight about your upbringing. How early was you playing football? How important were the family at that point?
Always had a ball at my feet. I think my mum's got photos in the loft from age of 2 probably. My dad was a footballer and he retired before he was 30 to join the police, so didn't really see too much of his professional career, but saw bits of it afterwards. So he was obviously a massive influence, having that experience of being a footballer, and that's all I ever wanted to do was grow up and do the same thing. So the support that your family, your mum and dad and everybody else coming to support you, and every weekend, during the week, taking you training different places, I don't think I could thank them enough, and I definitely wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for them.
And did you know quite early on that that's what you wanted to do? Some players kind of find it late on, some players find it quite early. Was that always something that
it was always something that I grew up and wanted to be a footballer. Was football daft growing up. Me and my brother would be out in the garden kicking lumps at each other, and there'd be two goalmouths at either end of the grass, and would be out there till all times. So yeah, it's always something that from an early age I really wanted to do that, and probably growing up when people asked me, that would have been my answer, was I want to be a footballer. And
where did you play? Every player that plays in defence always said they were centre forward, centre mid.
I actually played left wing.
Did you?
Yeah, I managed to sort of play there and then got shifted back to left back, and then forward and back, and moved about a bit. And so yeah, it was always, there wasn't many left-footed players about, so naturally you got stuck out on that side somewhere.
And tell me about when you first left home and went as a scholar. How was that transition from being at home, going into England, being away from family? It's a really tough time, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. I think I left when I was 21, I think, to come down, 21, 22, to go down to Watford. And it was a big move, as you say, a big life change. Grew up in Carnoustie, which is a tiny little seaside town, about 15,000 people. So to then go living to near London, on the outskirts of London, was a big shock.
Did you live it up?
That's probably why I lost my way a little bit. But yeah, I think I went down there. Obviously, the bright lights, you open your eyes a bit. So yeah, I enjoyed myself. Enjoyed living away from home, but at the same time, any time I got off, I was straight on a plane back up the road to see my mates and family, and that's the way it was for a couple of years.
Fast forward to Nigel signing you, originally on loan. Give me your first impression of the club and him as a manager, because he was a big part of you signing for the club.
Yeah, I actually told this story last week when we were in Spain. I said I'd been at Bradford on loan, hadn't worked out for me, came back to Watford and was actually on the bench when when we played Derby at Watford, and Nigel was on the sidelines and giving people an earful as usual, and there's a few of us sat on the bench thinking, wouldn't fancy that every week. And 2 weeks later the phone call came, do you want to go to Derby on loan? And it was an opportunity I couldn't turn down. Jumped at the chance, drove, been well documented, drove straight to Cardiff, met them there, played, and then I've been here ever since. But I think he kind of put his arm around me a bit and said, look, this is where I think you can play. You'll play left back. And it probably needed somebody to tell me that and say, look, that's where you're going to play. The previous year, Sean Dyche had tried to do it and had kind of resisted it because I wanted to play further forward. But Nigel said, that's where you'll play. You'll come here, you'll play there. And as I said, I'll forever be thankful for him for giving me that opportunity.
And talk to me about some of your aims and aspirations at the club. I've seen an interview where you said you just wanted to get into left-back position and make it your own. Did you have more confidence in what you could bring to Derby County, or was it just a case of getting your career back on track and finding some consistency? Yeah,
I think it'd definitely be the getting the career back on track. I think at the time I was still trying to prove myself down here. I hadn't really played that many games that had proved that I could handle it down here, and obviously the second year at Watford hadn't gone to plan, so it was a bit of a test. So yeah, initially it was get that left back spot and play as many games as you can, and it kind of went from there. And you've played, I think, is it 11 or 12 managers in your 10 years? I think, yeah. Something around there. Something around there. Tell me how kind of adaptable you have to be as a player, because you know, you sign for the club, Nigel Clough's in charge, then Steve McLaren takes over, and we've had so many managers come and go. But you've managed to maintain consistency in that left-back position. Obviously, last year it was centre-back. But how much do you have to adapt? How much do you have to learn to work for a manager in different ways? I think everybody, when a new manager comes in, has to prove themselves. I think everybody has... As a footballer, you doubt if the manager's going to like you, if you're going to fit with the way he wants to play. So that's one thing that I've always done, is listen to what the manager wants, follow the instructions, and get your head down and work hard. And it seems to have worked well for me while I've been here. So that's one thing that I was always taught from a young age by my dad, was get your head down and work hard. And at this club, especially with the amount of changes that we've had, it's probably helped me. And was the scale and the size of the club a bit of a surprise to you when you signed? Obviously, you got a taste on loan. Yeah. But I don't know if you realise the magnitude of the club until you live here. Obviously, you and your wife with your kids live in Derby. You realise the size of the club. Did that take a while to understand, or did you know as soon as you signed? Yeah, it probably did take a while. I think, obviously, as you say, initially on loan, I was in the hotel at Morlaix, so you're not really around the city so much. But once you get here and you realise that it is a massive club, and it has a massive influence on the community. If the club's doing well, then everybody seems to be in a better mood. So I think, it did take a while to probably realise the size of it, but at the same time, as I was realising that, then the club was on the up as well. So everybody was the expectation was there and growing. So 10 years. Give me a couple of favourite moments. There's been some highs and lows, of course, in your 10 years, but have you got a couple of moments that really stand out? I think the Forest game in my first year, I think was a special day. I think, obviously, it's gone down in the history books. Was that as big for you boys as it was for Bryce? Obviously, Bryce gets the plaudits, the 3 goals, but did it feel as big for all the other boys on the pitch? Yeah, I think so. I think at that time it was kind of a vital point in the season, and I think that really kicked us on. We obviously did get there in the end, but I think that just gave us the belief and the confidence that on the big occasions we had people that would step up to it. I think that one would be up there. The Man United game away in the Cup, we would beat them on penalties. We were obviously winning very late on and conceded, and we thought maybe that's it, the chance is gone, but we got to penalties and won on penalties. So those two would be two big games that would stand out. And can you remember your first time captain? I don't know when that would be actually. It was dished around quite a bit under Cocu for a while.
Yeah. A proud moment though, you know,
yeah,
when you know the size of the club and
yeah,
some of the players that have wore the armband in the past.
Yeah, massively. I think obviously when I arrived, obviously you yourself was captain, then you'd Buckle, Richard Keogh, Curtis Davis has obviously worn it for the last few years. So Wayne Rooney, there's some big massive names in just my time since I've been here, and obviously you go look further back and there's some even bigger names as well. So yeah, massively proud moment to wear that armband if I'm asked to do so.
So I said about there being some real highlights in your 10 years. You've had to go through some really dark moments as well. I think it's important we talk about the injuries. So 3 ACLs, not many get back from 2 or 3. It's quite a remarkable feat that you've achieved. How did you deal with those kind of tough times? Was it you against everyone and you just got your head down and you worked your socks off? Did you need support from players, from managers? What's the process in getting back from those sorts of injuries?
I think they've all been slightly different processes, I would say. The first one was never happened before, obviously, so you don't know, it's all fresh, and you kind of have an enthusiasm for it almost, and you want to get back and you want to show that you can do this, and did that, felt brilliant coming back, and then it happens again. The second one is like, why so soon?
Was that the hardest one, the second one, almost? You know, because the work that you've had to do to get back from your first.
Yeah, whenever somebody asks me this, it always changes from 2 to 3. I think that the second one was really hard because it was so soon after. And then the third one was tough as well because I felt as though I was getting back to where I was before all the injuries. So then to take that blow again was tough. And as you say, you think, right, that's 3 times. There's not many come back from 3, so will you be able to do it? Will you still be the same player? You start asking questions, you're older, can your body handle it? Is it this, is it that? So I think they've all, 2 and 3 were really tough, and as I say, they've all been different processes and circumstances around them as well. Obviously the first one, my wife Charlie fell pregnant with first, so that was kind of gave you something to look forward to. And then the second one, obviously, so soon after she was born, kind of masked it a little bit because you had that joy of becoming a father. And then the third one was the same. With Charlie was expecting again Kit, so it was something else to kind of take your mind off it, and that probably helped, to be fair, in all of them, and having something else to focus on and take your mind off the, as you know, the day-to-day mundane process of ice and gym.
As you're coming back, did you notice your body was any different? You know, in your first few games, it takes a little bit of time to get up to speed. Did you notice quite quickly that maybe you'd lost half a yard and you had to adapt, or was it you're still the same player and you learned a little bit later on how to maybe manage games and how to get in certain positions on the pitch?
I think the first one, I felt my legs were massive, just purely just because you do that much gym, and I felt as though I was running with weights on my legs. But I felt the first one I felt really sharp. Second one, I think obviously I spoke to Gary Rowett when I came back, and I said I don't feel ready to play. I didn't feel great, so we kind of went back out for a few weeks. Did a lot of extra work with Stephen Haynes, the fitness coach. It was brilliant. And came back and then had a really good season. And the third one was probably when you start thinking, oh, should I do this, should I do that? And probably took me longer to mentally probably process things and as you say, adapt to the way that your body feels and what your body was capable of.
Obviously, when you first signed, it was like a marauding left back. It was a left winger that was having to play left back. How was adapting to play centre half? Obviously, anyone who asked me about you, unbelievable timing in the air, always willing to defend, but you had that kind of energy to go forward. So as you've got a little bit older, we've seen you adapt in different positions. I thought last season you were outstanding at centre back. Have you got a preference? Obviously, being a little bit older, it's slightly easier at centre half. Have you got a preference where you'd play?
I always loved playing left back. I think the game was always in front of me. I could run onto it, and I felt that was one of my strengths was getting forward, helping people and crossing the ball. So I always loved playing there, but as you say, as you get older, your body can't do it as much as your mind tells you want to do it. Your body just can't do it. People have always said to me from a young age I would end up playing centre half just because of my height and whatnot. So it was something that people had always talked about. I'd obviously played the odd game here and there covering for injuries, but last year was the sort of longest run I've had at playing centre half, and I really enjoyed it. I think, as you say, you're older, experienced, you can see the game and read the game a bit better. So, and the obvious thing is you don't have to do the running up and down.
It helps. So, one of the things with players, you have unbelievably confident footballers that just know they're going to be footballers. They excel out on the pitch. Is that what you're like? Are you quietly confident, or for someone like me, I was felt a bit of an imposter syndrome. I always felt that I was having to prove myself. What kind of character are you away from the pitch? Are you a confident lad, or is it something that you've learned as you've gone on?
I wouldn't say I'm overly confident. I would back myself in certain situations. I know what I'm good at, and then I understand what my strengths are. But probably a bit like yourself, I felt I was always proving people. Had to prove to people, had to prove to managers, to people outside that I was good enough to play here. Did you
have that with yourself at all, or do you always have the confidence it was that kind of player?
Probably after the injuries, probably early stages coming back, you doubt yourself. You doubt, as I said, you doubt if you're the same player, can your body still do it? And it probably takes you a little bit longer to prove that to yourself after the injuries that everything is all right.
So this is a tough one. Best player you played with? You've played with some special players, the likes of Wayne Rooney, Ashley Cole, young players like Mount. But is there one particular player of your time at Derby that stands out above everyone else?
It's a tough question, that. I think I'd probably have to say Mason Mount, if I've been honest. I think from the day he arrived, the first session, watching him, you could see he was going to be something special.
What made him different? What made him special?
It was just, everything was so, his technique was so clean, everything was so sharp, the way he moved, the way he ran, the press, everything was just, you could see it's something special. And I don't know if now you realise what he's gone on to achieve since, you realise how special he was.
So I've got 10 quick questions to ask you, as quickly and honestly as you can. I'll start with the first one. Favourite game for the club? I think you've already answered that.
Yeah, I would say the Forest fight now, yeah.
Best mate since you've been at Derby? This is going to cause a little bit of upset.
As I say, there's a group of us now.
Give me two or three then.
Families are really close. Martin Waghorn, Richard Keogh, Bradley Johnson, David Nugent, we're all really close groups.
And was he instantly close? Is that like a bond that's built over time, or do you just kind of know straight away?
It's probably over time, yeah. As I say, we'd all spent long parts of a career here, so over time you build up that friendship.
Funniest teammate after a few beers?
Scott Carson.
But you did have to, didn't take you long at all then, did it? Have you got a favourite manager or a manager that's probably influenced you the most?
I think it would be between Nigel and Steve. I think Nigel, as I said, put his arm around me and gave me the opportunity, and Steve then took me on to the next level.
Do you feel that was like a perfect combination of the two? Because we saw that within the team.
Yeah.
Nigel had built this squad, some fantastic players, and then all of a sudden Steve gave that freedom. Was that how it felt personally?
Yeah, I think Nigel's man management, the way he treated people was excellent, and Steve was brilliant on the training ground as well.
There's not been too many, but you got a favourite goal?
It would probably be the one against Preston. I think a few days after my daughter was born. That's one that sticks in the mind, and I think I was top scorer for a while after that. I think.
Can you name the teams you scored against? The 7, is that right?
I don't know.
I think so.
Is
seven,
there?
I think the 7.
Watford, Hull, Bristol.
Let's take it as a no.
No.
We'll come back afterwards. Hardest thing about being a footballer?
Probably now I've got family and kids is not seeing them as much as you would like to.
Especially on away trips for a week in Spain. Biggest influence on Craig Forsyth, the player?
I'd probably say my dad, to be honest. I think growing up, as I say, he played football and taught me the basics, but also drilled into me that hard work was important.
And will it be the same man for you as a person?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, I think obviously growing up, he was, as I said, my hero, played football. So that's probably why I'm playing football as well.
Favourite staff member? Can't include coaches. There's so many good staff at Derby. Have you got one in particular that you're close to?
It'd probably be a toss-up between Davo and Storer, I think.
So tell me who they are.
The Doc as well. The Doc as well has been amazing for me while I've been here. Davo's obviously the kit man. John Davidson, he's been here for 25 years plus, I think. So
Character.
Just a great character to be around, hilarious. Just a brilliant guy. And Storer's player liaison who basically runs around looking after everybody. But yeah, another guy who would do everything for you. And through the tough times that I've had here, they've always been there to pick me up and keep me going.
If it wasn't going to be Derby County, what club would you have liked to play 10 years for?
Real Madrid, that would have done.
It's a good shot. Favourite thing about being a Derby County player?
I think it's an obvious thing, but playing here every week, the stadium's brilliant. There's near on 30,000 every week. I mean, I think there's not many clubs around the country that get that. So I think having that privilege every second week is definitely that.
Wonderful. And final question, if you could choose one centre-back to play alongside at the heart of defence that sat opposite you, who would it be?
Barker.
Put that little bit out. Congratulations on a wonderful 10 years, mate. It's been a pleasure watching you. So many fans have appreciated your time and your performances. Great guy on the pitch, wonderful off it. I hope you have a really successful year, mate.
Thank you, Barks.
Bio's cross. Man coming in. It's Craig Forsyth, third of the season for Derby's number 3, to get them right back in this game.